Wellness Reimagined, Biohacking for Armwrestlers. Training for a sport like arm wrestling puts the body through a lot. Some ignore the pain and discomfort and drive forward but risk serious injury. Or some give up and find themselves looking for another sport to participate in, while others, like myself, are interested in putting as much focus into recovery and rehabilitation as the strength and conditioning aspects of getting to the next level.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of Wellness Reimagined, Biohacking for Arm Wrestlers. Today, we have Rosie from the Float Place joining us to discuss the float therapy services they have along with their benefits. First, I want to dive a little bit more into my personal experience. I have found float therapy about almost a year and a half into me becoming an arm wrestler. So I am very much in tune with what they are doing and what they have available. For me, jumping into float therapy was not an easy thing because I'm very claustrophobic. I fear closed spaces, but this location actually has a room. So I said, why not? Let's give it a shot. And I didn't know what to expect going into it. I wasn't sure what I was going to gain. With that being said, I decided to go jump in it wholeheartedly, and it gave me some really transformative benefits. It allowed for me to focus and create a new mentality within the arm wrestling training that I was doing for myself, that I was able to focus on the pin, focus on the win. And that is a mantra that I stay now to this date. Before a tournament, I'm actually in preparation for the Keystones this upcoming weekend, and this place is pivotal in that preparation. It is absolutely next level for me to get to that next level. I'm able to focus in that 90-minute session on just that, visualizing the pin, visualizing the win, as well as the anti-inflammatory properties of being in an Epsom salt bath, essentially. And I'm always speaking to your wellness being a priority and not a luxury, and this place allows for that for me. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Rosie here. She's going to go over her experience, her background, and the origins of the Float Place.
Hey Dan, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I love to hear that. This is actually us getting together besides just passing when you come to the Float Place for your sessions. So I am Chief Happiness Consultant here at the Deer Park location. We have two locations. The other one is in Patchogue. And how I came to floating was back in 2017. I came for the first time. A coworker where I was working prior mentioned to me, because I love meditating, and she's like, Rosie, I think this is right up your alley. So I said, cool, let's try it. I'm always open to try something new. And I came and I literally walked out like I was walking on clouds, and it just really brought my meditation to a whole other level. Meditation is a huge part of my life, my mental health well-being. And I remember the first words that came out of my mouth were, I need to work here. That was in 2017. And I think me putting it out there, it took about 2 years before I got here to be happiness consultant originally. And then right after the pandemic, I was promoted to chief happiness consultant, which is like a manager, but I take the title, I wear it. Okay, I am your chief happiness consultant. So, and that's pretty much it. That's how I came to be here.
I can speak to that. Every time I've come here, every single time I come here, I'm greeted with a warm welcome. I feel like I'm stepping into a long-lost family relative's home almost. And that is next level in preparation of any form of relaxation, any form of wellness. It's key to be around people you're comfortable with, and I'm certainly comfortable here with Rosie.
Thank you so much.
So tell me a little bit more about, how did the Float Place come to fruition? What was the background? I know you joined the team later on afterwards, but how did it happen?
Okay, well, it started by a dream of one dude, Tom Wunk, and he went to a float therapy session in the city. And from what he shared is that he stared at the unit for almost his whole session, and all he saw was like, I can do this. And he started it in his basement back in 2013. And then fast forward, I believe it was like 2 years later that he had a client come in who was not he didn't go well in his first float, but when he came back, it just transformed his life, which is Hardy. And they both put their heads together, and the Deer Park location was born.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That is awesome. So, now, what sets apart the float place from other float options? As you mentioned, he had gone to another float place, and I know there's quite a few across the nation. What sets you guys apart?
Honestly, I've only floated at another location, and it was in Iowa. Okay, so there is a float place in Iowa, just not affiliated. And my only experience has been here with this location and Patchogue. And honestly, it's like you said, it's just like it's the energy, it's the vibe. Like I said, I don't know what the other places may feel like. I mean, we do have other things that we offer as well. Right now, we're actually launching a program called the TFP Experience, which we can talk about more if you have any questions about it.
On a later episode, we'd be happy to go into, we're going to actually go into more service offerings that this location has. We're just introducing and highlighting the float therapy option as of right now. But there is a slew of wellness options that are really helping and geared towards helping you feel better about yourself and what you're doing. So it's not just for an arm wrestler, it's for every walk of life, which is a beautiful thing in my opinion. Now, I do know there are different float therapy options out there that some are just a tank or just a room, but you actually happen to have both. What inspired having both those options available?
Well, the tank originally is the unit that started in Tom's basement.
Okay.
Okay, so that's more encapsulated. It's a smaller unit, but you have the same experience as the room. But for first timers, usually seeing the smaller encapsulated one, all of a sudden, some people that have never experienced claustrophobia, what if I get claustrophobic, is the question that pops up. But the location, honestly, it was already set this way. It was somebody else that was starting a float center, and they decided that it wasn't for them after they built it. So it was just like the universe just conspiring, honestly. When these two guys, yes, these two guys were looking for a place, and then boom, this was almost ready to like move in. All they had to do is bring the tank. So that's kind of how it was born. I think that was the universe.
There you go. There you have it. So beyond the benefits that I've experienced of my pain relief when I'm in the Epsom salt bath, because I know there's a lot of Epsom salt that helps alleviate some of the aches and pains, and floating weightless, it takes a lot of pressure off the joints, and the mental fortitude that I gain from being in the float tank. What other benefits are some that other people have experienced and that can help?
Well, I can speak from my own personal experiences. I have a few other testimonies from other clients, but for me, it actually helped me rebalance my hormones, because when I started here in 2019, I was just entering perimenopause.
Okay.
And my hormones were all over the place. My emotions were all out of whack. And being an avid meditator, even meditation wasn't helping me. So I started floating. As soon as I started working, I started floating regularly, and gradually, with no medication, no drugs, I started floating, and I didn't know it was going to do that, but they went back to balance. And
that is awesome.
that's one of them. The other one is a lot of people come here because they have depression, anxiety, they can't sleep, inflammation, PTSD. We have all varieties. Some people just use it for stress. Some people, they are in the medical industry or in the sports, and it helps them recover. So it's really it's a very broad. I do believe that, from, like I said, my own experience is that floating helps the individual exactly where they need it. It's kind of like even CBD.
Okay.
That it goes to where you're needing it, and it's just really a getting to know yourself also.
Okay.
You get to be just you.
Very self-aware.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
become much more connected with your mind and your body.
Yes.
And I can speak to that myself, because I do feel much stronger when I'm at the arm wrestling table after a float therapy session, because when I miss it, I miss it. And I don't feel my right self. I don't feel the best version of myself. I am not able to tap into that. But when I have it, my connection is next level.
Wow. No, that's awesome.
Now, what is one thing your business has done for you or your clients that you didn't anticipate or expect, kind of caught you off guard? It's like, whoa, that's actually really cool.
Well, honestly, one of the things that it has done for me, it has brought my focus in almost to a laser sharp. I have had, I guess, what is called ADHD. I was never diagnosed, but I was very scattered. I don't know if because being a mom, you have to multitask and everything. It's just like everything seemed to be all over the place, emotions, life, and everything. And here, I'm able to retrain that, focus on one thing at a time, be at peace. I mean, even just working here, because while everybody is floating, I'm also just focusing on one thing at a time.
Okay. Awesome. Now, being that we're on a YouTube channel, we are going to be posting the website where they can find you, but is there anywhere else that they can find you and get more information about you?
The website has all of the information, has the walkthrough video and everything.
Okay.
We are working on a podcast.
Okay. Ooh,
Tom is
cool.
actually, he's marinating in his ideas
Okay.
of how to bring more testimonials, people that have experienced a life-changing experience from floating.
That is amazing. Testimonials are great because it kind of sheds a lot more light on each individual's personal experience on something that may not be widely mainstreamed.
Right.
And this is our effort to make this more mainstream, become a reality, become a part of our lives. Now, next week, we're going to actually be bringing Rosie back along with the other two people I interviewed earlier this month, the CBD provider from the Feel Good Factory and Greg from Cryogen, New York. We are going to be having a little live symposium, if you may, of Q&A. So please stay tuned next Wednesday for a Wednesday Wellness Warrior Symposium, I guess you can call it. And we're going to have a little bit of fun, answer some live questions. Join us, and we'll be looking forward to having you.